All right, good morning, Year 8. If you're watching this video, you are up to adding tone in your 1-point perspective drawing, which means you've finished the first 2 steps. So you have done a line drawing of a 1-point perspective street scene. So this is a line drawing. We're using a horizon line. We have a vanishing point. All the lines that are not vertical and that are not horizontal are going to this vanishing point. That is the rules. There's 3 lines: horizontal, vertical, and the orthogonal is going to the vanishing point. Okay. So we've also then added detail. So you've added windows, doors, pavement, bricks, billboards, trees, cars, whatever you like. Okay, so you're going to be adding details to your drawing. And last step is adding tone. So you should have this PowerPoint. It should have been shared with you by your teacher. It's called Toning a Realistic Street Scene. So where are we heading? We're heading here. Okay, we're going to be toning our street scene, and that is going to be our finished product in which you submit as your completed task. Let's go over a little bit about toning. This here is the tonal scale. Toning is adding shading, adding light and dark. It's making something look 3D, like real life. Okay, it's not flat like a line drawing. This here is the tonal scale. We've got blacks, we've got whites, and we've got greys, or the in-betweens, or the shadows, the midtones, and the highlights. Okay, let's have a look at some of these tips. Now, we should remember some toning techniques from our Year 7 realistic drawing of our face. And here is some little reminders. So we are looking, we're thinking, and we're drawing. We're not just putting toning down any old place. We're thinking, where is the darkest? Where is the lightest? And in our case, this is determined where the light source is from. Being outside, it's the sun. So we're thinking about, where is the sun? In what direction is the sun shining? What does the sun not reach? Where are shadows being cast? By forms casting shadows for where the sun cannot get to. So if we have a look here on this right, we can see the front of the buildings being lit up by the sun. So the sun is going to be on the top left, sort of behind you, as us looking at the picture. You can see the sun shining on the front of this building and the shadows cast by the side of the building because the sun can't get there and it casts a shadow. Okay, similar to all these little bits of shadow that are caused by forms that are sitting above something, meaning the sun can't get to them and it causes a shadow. Okay, so you need to think about where your light source is coming from. And I'll say it again later on, I recommend you get a reference image or a couple of reference images and have them printed next to you as your reference point, just so it's a bit confusing knowing where the light is hitting and not hitting. So we're constantly questioning in our drawing. We're aiming for a range of tones. Now, what you'll see in both of these drawings, there is a range of these tones. We have the shadows, midtones, and the highlights. Okay, we don't have just wishy-washy greys here in the middle. So we want to aim to add the dark shadows and leave white where the highlights are. Even if the building's not white, we leave it as white to create that lovely contrast and difference between light and dark. Okay, some students end up handing in wishy-washy grey drawings with not enough white. So get your rubber and rub back. That's how you bring white back, is use your rubber. You can use the edge of your rubber for a sharper line or the side of the end of your rubber for a bit of a more blunt or a faded line. Okay. And some students are a little bit scared to press down. My recommendation is to build up the dark tones slowly. Okay, don't just try and press through the page. You build it up slowly. I'm going to show you that in a moment. Okay, some other techniques to help you tone is build up tone slowly using the side of your pencil. I'll show you in a moment. Try little circular movements to blend tone with the end of the pencil. And tone with the shape. There's not many curved surfaces here. So, you might be curving your trees, as you can see here, but your hand should move in line with the shape. So if I'm toning this edge of the building, my pencil's moving up the building and to the side of the building. Okay. Right, I'm just going to show you some of those in action. So hopefully this works. Okay, so here's the camera. Here's my line drawing that I have started, and I've started doing a little bit of tonal work there. just going to turn it over very quickly and just show you on this side. So I don't want to see big sweeping movements like that when you're toning, okay, unless it's hatching and you're really meaning for it to be and show texture. And that might be what you're trying to do. But I'd probably recommend just trying to blend anyway. Blending is nice, smooth tone. Okay, so to do that, I'm going to be trying to use the edge of my pencil. So I'm trying to get this little edge of my pencil onto the paper. Okay, so holding it at the end of the pencil and getting some nice smooth tone there. If I was doing a line drawing, I would probably be holding my pencil like this. Okay, and I'm drawing. But if I'm toning, I like to hold it here at the end and build it up slowly. Okay, so you'll notice my pencil's actually going in little circular movements. Okay, by doing that, it actually gets really nice smooth tone. So you'll see my pencil's moving in little circular movements, and in order for me to move my pencil over, I'm actually just moving my whole arm. So what's happening is my pencil's going in between my fingers in a little movement like that, and if I have to move, I move my arm. Okay. Now when I want to build up darker tones, I start sort of going over it again. And as I start going over it again, of course it gets darker. And I get some really lovely, nice blended tone. So if I turn over and I start trying to do this surface here, I like to turn my page so I'm not in an awkward position. I like to sort of turn my page as I need. So I'm just going to turn it this way. Using the edge of my pencil, holding it at the end. You can see the movements of my pencil are quite small, and they should be in a drawing like this because we're aiming for accuracy. Okay, and this one's going to blend out. So little circular movements. I'm not pressing very hard here in my pencil. Little circular movements. As I get lighter, of course, I release the pressure, and I'm pressing very light. If I need to make things darker, I then go back and go over it instead of trying to press down and do this straight away, because then we don't get very good results doing that. Okay, so build it up nice and slowly, little circular movements. You can see how lovely and smooth that is. Now, if you find that you've gone too far, where's my rubber? You can always just you can see me sort of dabbing my rubber here to bring back the whites. Okay, so by me dabbing very lightly, I rub out a little bit rather than a lot. If I was to want to rub out a lot, I press down hard and I can rub out a lot. Okay, so just going back to my tips here on the screen. Okay, I just demonstrated those ones there. If we keep going down, there's some other great stuff in this PowerPoint. Well, one thing I forgot to mention, you might have seen me here. I'm actually drawing on a notepad. It creates a bit of a softer surface than drawing straight onto a table. And you'll notice it helps you blend a little bit smoother. So even on a book is a good idea. Okay, so there's some really nice images in here to use as your reference, or just to have a little look at how light is working with shadows in the sun. So we can see the sun in this image is coming from the top right. It's hitting this building and it's casting a shadow here because it can't get to it. In this drawing here, we've got light coming from, it would be behind us and above. Okay. As we keep going, there's some lovely images to use as a reference. You'll see these all have a lovely range of tones, darks, lights, and in between. Okay, it's a bit of a grey image in terms of the photograph taken, but we've still got some nice contrast of tones and details. So as I said before, print out a couple of images, go on and find some. Type in shaded 1-point perspective or 2-point perspective, and you'll find these images, the same ones that we've found. Okay, well, we look forward to seeing the tone that you've added to your drawings, the lovely shadows that are being cast. You do have until the end of the term, so take your time. Take your time and don't forget about your rubber. It can bring back white. Thank you, Ray, and we'll see you soon.